Baba says, man must think, but he must not worry. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. So from the starting prayer, you now know what the subject, today's subject is all about. I had been requested by quite a few people that looking to the scenario that is going all around us, many people are worried, many people are stressed, many people are fearful. So why don't we read and discuss something which Baba has said about worry and fear and other aspects which are negative aspects of our emotions. So what we are starting today is from the book called The Path of Love, and the subject is worry, on worry, and page number 114. This is what Baba has to say on worry. But before we begin that, I would like to read out just a few lines. See, first of all, let us understand and be sure that we have with us someone who is the highest of the high, the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, the Avatar of the age, Avatar Meher Baba. No doubt, everything belongs to Baba. The entire creation belongs to Baba. But my understanding is that those who love Baba are definitely in his nazar, in his nigah, in his grace. Now, when I say those who love Baba, it doesn't mean those who love only Meher Baba. It means those who love God, sincerely love God. And we all seem to be having faith in him. So here Baba says something about faith. I will just read out a few lines. This is from Lord Meher, the original version, American version, volume 16, page number 1916. Baba says, the meaning of faith is that one is not shaken by anything. Baba has time to time emphasized that everything that we are witnessing, everything, just everything, is in the domain of illusion. It is just a shadow. It is happening, but it is happening in the domain of, in shadow, let's say in dream. So why are we so very much affected by it? The question here, the moot point is, every one of us, or most of us, feel concerned, feel affected, feel worried, feel whatever, nervous, because we think that what is happening in the domain of reality or truth. Whereas Baba says all that is happening in illusion, as a dream, in the shadow. Here Baba says the meaning of faith is that one is not shaken by anything. Faith is the means whereby anything can be courageously accomplished. If we, as Baba lovers, say, or like authoritatively say that we are Baba lovers, then we are expected to have faith in Him. And if we have faith in Him, then it should not shake us. As Baba says, man must think, but he should not worry. Definitely, there'll be some sense of concern, care, lovingness, going out of the way to help others. All that is perfectly okay. But men should not worry. Then Baba goes on to say, worldly people naturally worry about their families. But in reality, everything is a big zero. Now, Baba talks of reality. We are all deeply immersed in illusion, and therefore we are worried. And if we take Baba to be what he is, and if we take Baba's words to be words of God, then still if we are worrying, then definitely it is something wrong with us. We are not able to tune ourselves with what Baba is trying to convey to us. So the fault in fact lies with us and not with the world, as as whatever direction the world may go, Baba says that everything is under my control. Everything is in perfect order. It may not seem so, but when Baba said it, we have to believe that if we have faith in Baba. Then Baba goes on to say, I'll just read one more paragraph. How long will your connection with your family last? What do you know about your forefathers? And likewise, how long will your family members remember you after you pass away? They will forget everything. Nobody is going to remember anything or have any connection with you. All these present connections are only temporary. They are not permanent or everlasting. And then Baba goes on to say something else, which we are not going to read right now, maybe at some other time. The platform from which we are talking today's session and maybe a couple of sessions more is that in truth, there is nothing to worry. And the fact also is that we all are worried. So, what needs to be transformed, to be transmuted, to be changed, to be altered is not the outside, but our own mindset, depending, relying totally, having faith in what Baba is saying. So, in other words, what needs to be done is with us, within us, and not anything outside, because we have no control over outside of us. Things are happening, things are happening like a blind shot. Today, some scientist would say something, tomorrow, he would say something absolutely opposite. Today, one set of people will say you must take the vaccine. It is the savior to save you. There is another sect of people which says that vaccine has got very limited potential. After 6 months, there will be a different variant and blah, blah, blah. There are even videos which say that vaccine actually spoils the natural immunity of the man. Now, whom to believe? I don't know. So either you believe everyone or you believe only Meher Baba. And only believing Meher Baba would mean, in my understanding, that whatever needs to be done according to your deepest core of being, what your being tells you to do, you just do it. And at the end of the day, leave everything to Baba, because beyond that, you cannot do it. You can only upraise, yani raise up, upraise in the sense raise up or bring up or improve your potentiality of fighting what is there outside. You cannot do anything to the enemy. You can only strengthen yourself so that you are able to handle the so-called enemy. I wouldn't even call it an enemy. Then again, at the end of the day, as we say, why are we worried? Most of us are worried because we are going to die. Let's put it very simple, in simple terminology. And when has it ever happened since the start of creation that one single person has not yet died? Everybody has died. In the sense, the normal limited death of the body, I'm talking, not the final death. So everybody dies, everybody has to die. Again, I'm talking about the physical death. So why are we worried? Is worry going to give us an iota of strength, of tranquility, of poise, of peace, of bliss? No, it is going against us. So the common sense is that do whatever needs to be done and leave it to Baba. Because at the end of the day, we are all going to drop our body. And if we get to know that we are going to drop our body, say if the doctor says 24 hours ka garak hai, something like that, in 24 hours he is going to pop off and all that, I would say, and I have always maintained, that we are then very fortunate to know that only this much time is left. And so we tie our loose ends, whatever it is, and most importantly, we just drop all our consideration, all our attachments to everyone and everything, and just stay focused on Baba, his name and his remembrance, because we have been given this opportunity of this physical form with one day, as we say, with one purpose, with one goal, and that is to become one with the Lord. And this is an opportunity for us to focus ourselves on Baba all the more, and any which way we are going. So, why don't we go as a victorious person, as somebody who has achieved the goal, as somebody who has accomplished the purpose for which this body was given, that I have reached the goal of Baba, becoming one with Baba, Mukti, Moksha, salvation, liberation, whatever we may call that name doesn't matter. We have reached the goal rather than unnecessarily get into the whirlpool of worry. So again, I say, Baba, I'm repeating Baba's words: man must think, but he must not worry. These are Baba's words, and if we consider ourselves as Baba lovers, it behooves upon us. It is our responsibility to see that we do not worry and help others not to worry. Jai Baba. Now we'll start with the reading.
On worry, I will begin the talk by telling you not to worry. Whatever suffering may befall you, you should put up with it with full faith and love for Baba. At the most, what could happen? You might die. And it is so very obvious that you have to die one day. You have to drop this body sooner or later. Why not then think that your body is not there already and so act detached? One more thing you must remember, that is, be honest. I am in everyone and in everything. God is in everyone and in everything. And because God is in everyone and everything, He knows everything. So be resigned completely to His will.
As I said, this is the book called The Path of Love, page number 114, on worry. I will begin the talk by telling you not to worry. This is like an order. This is like something, if we, Baba has stressed a lot on obedience, and I would consider that as an order not to worry. Whatever suffering may befall you, you should put up with it with full faith and love for Baba. Now, all the time I have been emphasizing on this. Any experience that we have is because we have sown the seeds for that experience in our past. I keep repeating this, I know, but I always maintain that repetition reinforces remembrance. We tend to forget. So I've got this, whatever you call it, peculiar habit of repeating everything a lot of times. The point is that the consciousness of my soul will not get the experience if it is not required. The very fact that I am going through a certain experience, it means that I deserve that experience. Why would I deserve that experience? I deserve that experience because there is something which I have done in the past which has caused this experience as the effect of that cause. And once the effect is handled with spiritual maturity, the cause is nullified and I will not get that experience anymore. In other words, it's like a film, shooting of a film that is already ready in the reel, and then it is just, let's say, projecting. It is projecting on the screen of our consciousness. If it was not there on the reel, it can never come on the consciousness of our screen. In other words, each and everything that we experience is what we have caused in the past. That is one thing we have to understand. And Baba himself has said elsewhere that 99% of our suffering is self created. We create our own suffering because of what? Because of ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of the knowledge of the true self. What is the true self? I have stupidly, ignorantly identified myself with this body. And I say this is I. But this body is not I. The mind is not I. When I am going to the sound sleep state, I am not aware of my body. I don't even have my working mind. But still, I remain. So that is the real I. And if we tend to focus more on that I, then automatically our emphasis, our attachment, our lagav, lagan, whatever, with the false I gradually weans out or wears away. It does not mean that you will not take care of your body, you will not eat healthy food, you will not exercise, or you will not sleep well or rest well. It doesn't mean any of these things. It simply means that I am not attached to the false. Simply as simple as that. So, coming back to suffering, we suffer because of our own erroneous interpretation of things. Again, I am repeating what I have been repeating so many times. A small young girl is so attached to the Barbie doll. She is so attached that she sleeps with the doll. She is so attached that she gives bath to the doll, dresses her up, and all that. And one fine day, if the doll is, say, lost, or in your anger you have thrown the doll out of the window, the child would cannot be consoled, unconsolable. Why? Because of the false identification with the doll as if it is something real. According to Baba, all these attachments, all these associations are nothing but these are not Baba's words, like Barbie doll or whatever toy, that teddy bear or whatever you may call it. They are like that. In other words, attachment should not be there. Concern should be there. Love should be there. Care should be there. Doing for the others, selflessness should be there. But attachment should not be there in the pure knowledge that this is ephemeral, this is impermanent, this is there today, tomorrow it will not be there, and therefore it is not real. First of all, the form is not real. The reality is behind the form, beyond the form. Coming back to our reading, it says, Baba says you should put up with it with full faith and love for Baba. Full faith and love for Baba when you are suffering would mean that you don't blame anybody, that you understand that I am suffering because I am the cause. Nobody suffers in vain. Because see, the whole game is of the law of karma, is of cause and effect. There cannot be an effect unless there is a cause. There cannot be smoke unless there is fire. I may not be able to see fire, but in the distance I am seeing a lot of smoke. I can definitely say that there is fire somewhere. Without the fire, there can be no smoke. Without the cause, there can be no effect. Without our action in the past, the seed sowing, there cannot be any fruit by way of the experience. If we are fully anchored in that thought, that the law of karma is absolutely perfect, immaculate, there is no way it can be bypassed. It can be reversed, but that we are not looking that area of Baba's discourses right now. So first thing is acceptance that it is because of my cause. I am the cause because of my ignorance. Here Baba is in Hindi we say thok thoke. He is hammering into us that all this is an illusion, that then there is nothing to worry, there is nothing to be care, nothing to
Concern.
be concerned, yes, in a sense, feared about. But we are so what is it, that word? Not
Obstinate,
irrevocable. No,
obstinate
no, no.
ignorance.
Obstinate ignorance is there. Our ignorance is there, but we are also obstinate in our ignorance. But there's another word I forget now, getting old. Incorrigible. We are incorrigibly attached to Maya. We are incorrigibly attached to देखो ना मेरे को I'm hands up, blah, 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 blah. All that victim mode we call it. We are so incorrigibly attached to that in spite of Baba saying, hammering into us, we don't want to change. Hopefully, now with reading of Baba's literature, at least some parivartan, some alteration, some transmutation, some transformation will take place within us, that we have to only raise ourselves in order to attack what is happening outside. All these readings that we do is not going to change what is going to happen outside. I have been saying this. It's not that you will not fall sick. It's not that you will not get COVID. It's not that you will not meet with accident. It's not that you are going to die, not die. No, all this will happen. But this reading will transform us within ourselves in such a manner that we are more impactful, more powerful, more courageous, more fit and ready to take on what is going to come from outside. It only makes us more,
Strong within.
yeah, makes us more strong within us, more able to attend what needs to be attended. That's how I look at it. These readings will only transform us and not anything or anybody outside of us. Coming back to the reading again, at the most, what could happen? Baba says, you might die, and it is so very obvious. At the most, what will happen? You will die. And Baba, what does Baba say about that? We have done this before. It is only an incident in life. That is only an incident in life. And we make it such a big, whatever you call it, halla gulla about it, for the simple reason that we are ignorant, for the simple reason that we are attached to that person. It doesn't mean that you will enjoy and make merry when somebody dies. It simply means that you will be in a state of equanimity, and you will exactly know what has happened to that particular soul. It has moved on, it is in a better place, it is now going to enjoy the state of heaven. I am crying, I am weeping because of my own selfishness. Now, who is going to cook food for me? That is, if Soumya dies. Huh? And then who is going to cook food for me? And if I die, I don't think she's going to cry, because anyway, I seem that I'm not very helpful in the house. Anyway, so that's beside the point. Coming back to the reading, Baba says, and it is so very obvious that you have to die one day. So you have to drop this body sooner or later. Why not then think that your body is not there already, and so act detached? Baba is saying, act detached with your body and with everybody's body. Detachment does not mean that you will not care, you will not love, you will not be concerned, you will not be helpful. Nothing of this. Detachment comes from knowledge. Carelessness, carelessness, I care a damn, I care two hoots for the other person, comes from ignorance. Detachment comes from knowledge of the real value of what things, how the things are, properly valuation, and then you will do all that needs to be done. And at the end of the day, whatever happens to that body, our body or somebody else's body, you are okay. You've done your best, Baba. I the soul has come from you. The soul has gone back to you. Take care. That's about all. Why not then think that your body is not there already, and so act detached? One more thing you must remember, that is, be honest. Now, when Baba talks about honesty, I think he talks about do not be a hypocrite. I mean, do not show in the outside world what you are not. Be whatever you are within, show it to outside, because God is absolute honesty. Baba says, I am in everyone and everything. God is in everyone and everything, and Baba knows everything. Here, Baba says, I'm not reading the whole thing. It's okay. That's the sum and substance. He knows everything. So be resigned to his will. What is the meaning of he knows everything? Baba himself has said, and this is what I read in one of the, I think it was in one of the family letters or one of the letters from the Mandli, and I picked it up, and it's a very beautiful thing. I'll say it in my own words, that Baba says, and I've said this on this forum, that he is the author of a novel. He's written a novel called The Creation. And since he's the author, obviously he knows everything, and which means he knows how the novel is going to end, how the creation is going to end. And then Baba says most emphatically that the end is going to be absolutely beautiful for each and every one of us. He is the author and he is revealing to us the end of the novel. The novel is creation. But then Baba goes on to say that in the in between chapters, the intermediary chapters, you will find a lot of what in
Suspense.
suspense, lot of maramari, lot
Thrills.
of thrill, lot of whatever that is. Like how we see a movie. If the movie is a very smooth flowing, we don't enjoy. We need to have a villain, and we
Suspense.
need to have a heroine, and we need to have a villain who is chasing the heroine, and we need to have a hero who is trying to help, but he is so helpless, and the villain seems to be victorious for the time being, and then all of a sudden something turns, and the hero becomes the real hero, and the villain is killed, and they lived happily ever after. So this is the normal theme of a film. So Baba is also saying the same thing, that I am the author. I know for sure that everything is going to be perfectly well. So that is why I keep telling you over and over again, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry, be happy. Go ahead. Any questions on this? We are going to check. Oh no, sorry. Is it the same thing? Let's read one more paragraph and then we'll go to another. Yeah.
Once you were a child, now you have grown up. During the period from childhood up to now, you have gone through moments of great joys and sorrows. Where has all that gone? The fact is, neither joy nor sorrow was there. It is due to Maya that you think of and experience things which have no foundation. Within 20 or 30 years, you will also forget the thoughts and events of today. So, the best thing for you to do is just to love me. Love me honestly, work for me, I alone endure. All else is but a passing show. There should not be any trace of show in the work you do for me. You should have no expectations of reward for any work you do. In fact, I am much pleased and happy with your love and work. Don't worry.
Now here Baba is giving us an example that we are all grown up. Definitely, there must have been times in the past when we really worried about certain things, and that time has passed. Now, where is the worry? Of course, most of us have the habit of even worrying about things which have gone and keep on rotating that in our mind. You see. So, here, Baba, let's stick to what Baba has to say. Once you were a child, now you have grown up. Obviously this is a contextual thing. Baba must be talking about with somebody, with a group of people who are doing Baba's work, or what, because there's something about work which comes later on. During the period from childhood up to now, you have gone through moments of great joy and sorrows. So Baba is trying to say that truth alone is permanent. Everything else is impermanent and passing show. Even the joys and the sorrows, both are passing. So Baba says, where has all that gone? All your sorrows, where has it gone? It is not there. All your joys, where has it gone? It is not there. Because Baba says, in the eternity of things, there is no past, there is no future. There is only the eternal present. Everything is happening in the present moment,
Now,
which we call as the eternal now. That is the real moment. All that what has passed or all that has to come has no value. And if you really think deeply, where is the past? Many people are located, their location is in the past. They are in the present, but they are actually living in the past, constantly thinking about what has happened. It ought not to have happened, but it has happened, or constantly thinking what should have happened and it has not happened, vice versa, whatever it is. Now, Is there any real sense in staying in an abode which does not exist? Past only exists in memory. The role of the past is only to educate us and give us the lessons from the past so that we try not to repeat them again. Past is not there to be you keep on brooding over, you keep on worrying over, or what it doesn't make sense because it does not exist. It is non-existent. It is only in the memory. And that too, when you pull that memory from the distant past and bring it into the present, that is when it takes hold of your present and makes you sorrowful or joyful, depending upon which past you are pulling in the present. So, in short, there is no such thing as past. Coming to the future, there is no such thing as future. I may be thinking about future 5 years from now, but what happens if after 5 minutes I drop my body? You see, so Baba says that future is only anticipation. It is just an imagination. And most people also worry about the future. Baba says you must, somewhere else Baba said, like how Baba said, man must think, but he must not worry. In the same way, for future, Baba had said that man must plan. Baba has never said don't plan for the future. One must plan, but must not worry, because worry is such a toll, such a sucking aspect. It just sucks our energy, it sucks everything. And most important, when you worry, you are giving importance to Maya. You have come to the side of the Maya. You have become friends with Maya and not with Baba. So when you worry, you are in the gang of the Maya. Try to think it that way, that whenever I am worried, whenever I am disappointed, wherever I am sad, where I am at, whenever I feel lonely, I am on the side of Maya and not on Baba's side. Baba has said this elsewhere about lower self. What is lower self? So these are all aspects of lower self. When you are worried, when you are, what should I say, fearful, when you are irritated, agitated, sad, morose, whatever, gloomy, whatever, you are taking the side of Maya and you have divorced yourself from Baba and you are going like how people change political party. So in the same way, you have left Baba and you have joined Maya. Why should we do that? Keep that in our mind that I don't want to be one with Maya. I want to be one with Baba. And so whatever I may be going through, I will face it in the firm knowledge, number one, that I am the creator of the situation. And number two, the only way out is to face it courageously, bravely, in the faith that Baba will help me come out of it. That's all. And again, I repeat this, come out of it does not necessarily mean that you will not die. Because Baba had said this before. I'm just digressing a little bit, but Baba had said that when you are attacked by, let's say, a fierce animal, like a tiger or a lion, these are Baba's words, words from God. You must take my name out loudly. Baba, 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 or whatever name that you want to say, be assured that I will help you. And then Baba goes on to say, why I'm saying this, even if you are devoured by the animal, even if the animal eats you up, be sure that I have helped you. See, the whole point is, sorry, I have saved you. Yeah, I have saved you. The whole point is, again, the same thing, that one fine day, I'm using fine, not unfine, one fine day, we are all going to die. So even in the midst of an animal is trying to attack us, say Baba's name and die. And Baba has said that whosoever takes my name at the time of breathing his last, his would mean also hers, last, comes to me would mean that you will experience infinite bliss eternally. Now, what more assurance do we want? We should first of all absolutely dump the fear of death, because death is never to be feared. Death is to be accepted when it comes with a joyful heart and with Baba's name on our lips. If we can all do that, we call, uh,
This life is
this life is accomplished. And there's a certain word, anyway, samundar par kar diya, something like that. You have really crossed over the rigmarole, the punarjanam ka, given coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, is absolutely abolished. Now what more do we want? Baba is giving us full marks. He says, if you want 100 out of 100, all you need to do is remember me when you drop your body. Coming back to the
She
reading.
said Bhavasagar.
Sorry.
Bhavasagar.
Bhausagar, Bhausagar. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mere
All right.
Kripa.
Baba is saying, where has all the joys and sorrows gone? The fact is, neither joy nor sorrow was there. It was not there. The whole point that Baba is very deep philosophy. Anything that is truth, number one, it is permanent, perennial, changeless. One, same. Stoic, you can say. It is there, it was there, it is there, it will always remain. The joys have gone, the sorrows have gone, the worries have gone, the flirting has gone, everything has gone. That means it was all an illusion. It was all a shadow. Baba is using this. Where has it all gone? It was due to Maya that you think of and experience things which have no foundation. They have no reality. No foundation would mean they have no reality. They do not have the truth. We only enjoyed the illusion. Within 20 or 30 years, oh, Baba is giving us so much time, especially for oldies like me. Within 20 or 30 years, you will also forget the thoughts and events of today. Today, what is happening, after a few years, you're going to forget about it. So, the best thing for you to do is just to love me. Again and again, Baba is emphasizing on loving Him, on remembering Him, on making Him our constant companion, on offering everything to Him, the good, the bad, the ugly. Underline the word ugly. Whatever our weaknesses, whatever our shortcomings, whatever our attachments, whatever our ugliness, whatever so called sins we have done or doing or going to do, offer it to Him. That is Baba's words. Baba said, I am like the ocean. Somebody has said what? Sagar, Bhau Sagar.
Bhavasagar.
Ah,
Mere Kripa.
Mere Grupa. Baba has said, I am Mahasagar. I am like the ocean. Everything that you throw in me, filth as well as your goodness and strength, I will devour it and make you free and make you free of it. But the problem is that we are unwilling to offer it to Baba. In some other discourse, Baba had said that all your so-called sins and shortcomings and weaknesses and attachment, you lift it from your head and you bring it near my head, but you are not putting it on my head. And Baba, in a very humorous way, now that causes suspense. Baba says it is creating a suspense in me, whether I'm supposed to take it over or what. So you keep it like this, almost wanting to put it on my head, and then you take it back and put it back on your head as if it is such a precious thing for you. So these are Baba's words. Again, I am repeating. So we are doing this. So what are we expected to do? To just lift it and give it to Baba. In a sense, dump it on him and say, Baba, it is yours, take it. So we can only do this if we cultivate a practice, which Baba himself again has recommended elsewhere. Cultivate a practice of remembering him the first thing in the morning. Baba, you welcome him into your own being. Any which way, Baba is always there. Even if you try to throw him out, he's not going to go away. But this is just a mental exercise, an imaginative exercise. When you pray to Baba the first thing in the morning, Baba welcoming him in your heart and saying that Baba, guide me as to what I will think, speak, and do through the day. help me to do it. You do it through me. And then at the end of the day, the last thing is, Baba, whatever I have done, spoken, or thought of, I am offering it to you. It is yours. So it's such a simple exercise, but we have to cultivate that practice. So when we do that ongoingly, it becomes a norm. It becomes very, uh, what should I say, very sahaj, very natural, very spontaneous to have Baba in our being all the time. And when we are doing that, then really there is nothing to worry, because ultimately, as Baba says, what will happen? You will die. And when you die, what will happen? You will go to Him. As I always say, what will happen when you pop off? When you pop off, you go to your pop. Pop means the father. You go to your pop. And that's everybody has to go. So why should we not go happily and joyously, embracing him, meeting him? If you are out of station for a long time and you are meeting somebody, how anxious you are to meet him. So that should be our feeling at the time when we leave our body. And not, oh my God, now the time has come, I have to go. What will happen to this? What will happen to that? All that, any which way, it is not going to come with us. So why don't we start cultivating this kind of a positive attitude in our mind, so that when our time comes, I'm not saying if and when. It is not a question of if, because it is going to come. When it comes, we are prepared. Scout's motto, be prepared. Because I am a scout, so I know. Be prepared. So we are prepared to meet him in all our glory and in all his glory. And if we are fortunate enough to remember him when we pass over, oh, what joy it must be. I have no experience, but I'm sure from Baba's literature we know it is bliss. And Baba says you have got no idea of what that infinite bliss is. And it is not a moment's bliss. Baba promises infinite bliss eternally. Eternally means forever and ever and ever. Coming back to the reading, where has all that gone? All this is done. Okay. Within 20 or 30 years, you will also forget the thoughts and events of today. So the best thing for you to do is just to love me. Love me honestly. Work for me. And when I feel work for me, my personal take. Work for me does not necessarily mean that working in the ambit of Meher Baba activities. Well, it is good, but I would say do anything selflessly. When you do anything selflessly, with loving concern for the good and well-being of others, in my limited understanding, it is working for God. It is working for Baba. Work for me. I alone endure. All else is but a passing show. Baba alone is the reality, the truth. Constancy is there in Baba. In everything else, it is just a passing show. That means ephemeral, phenomenal, impermanent, whatever you call it. There should not be any trace of show in the work you do for me. In other words, if you are doing any selfless work, the work will be undone if we make a show of it. The work will be undone if you aggrandize that work. The work will be undone if your ego is bloated that I did this. I remember Adi Kaka, Adi K. Irani, Adi Senior. Once he had been to our center again ages ago, and he said, that people do a lot of work for Baba, there's no doubt. Not only for Baba, but for the world. But on one hand, when you do something good, it's like he did like this assets and liabilities. You have got an asset of, let's say, he used the word $1 million. He must have returned just from the US or whatever. So he said, you're on the asset side, you got $1 million, and now you're bloating about it. I did this, I did that. Things are coming in the newspaper, and you are aggrandizing your ego. Then on the other side, on the liability side, you have incurred a liability of $1.5 million. So in other words, what Baba is saying, do things honestly, honestly, without any pomp and show. Do not expect any reward. Do not expect applause, clapping of that. Do not expect a standing ovation for what you do. Just do because you feel like doing it and offer it to Baba as if Baba has done through you. So here Baba says there should not be any trace of show in the work you do for me. You should have no expectation of reward. The moment you expect anything, the work is undone. My principle has always been, and it has helped me so far, expect nothing and accept everything. Why I say accept everything? I remember once one of our great presidents of our Bombay Center, Dara Katrak, very sweet person. Those who have met, we had very close association with him, and he had this habit of taking a lot of things for the Meras and Mandli. You know, like what should I say? In Parsi, with patrel, darni pori, khajurni what is it? Khaja. In short, all the typical Parsi Irani snacks and stuff like that. So somebody rebuked him mildly. Hey, Darab Sahab, why is it that you're bringing all this? There's no need. You got sufficient over here. Now, Darab Sahab, this is what Mehra said. Mehra stopped the person from rebuke. I would not say rebuke, but he just passed he or she passed the remark against Dara, and Mehra said that he is bringing it with a lot of love, and whatever he brings, we will accept with love. So I have sort of ingrained that principle that you expect nothing, but anything that is given out of love, you accept it. That doesn't mean that you should give something. I'm just I'm just saying we can always inculcate these practices in our life. That many of our sufferings are because we are expecting a certain thing, a certain course of action from the other, a certain pattern of behavior from the others. And when that is not forthcoming, we suffer. What a stupid, idiotic cause of suffering. Because you expected somebody to say something to you or do something for you, and the person did not do, and you suffer. Isn't it stupid? So that is why Baba says that most of the suffering is self-inflicted because of our own stupidity, our own ignorance of things. Coming back to our reading, there should not be any trace of show. Okay. You should have no expectation of reward for any work you do. In fact, I am much pleased and happy with your love and work. So I'm sure, as I said, Baba must be talking to a group of workers for Baba. Don't worry. The final words of this chapter is Baba says, don't worry. Means do everything, but don't worry. I think I'll stop here. We still have time. We still have 10 minutes. But if there are any questions on what we did, please feel free.
Yeah, I was just wondering, you said that Baba said, and my father also always used to say that one should take Baba's name during its one's last breath, and then you will surely go to Baba. But for that, you have to practice it, and every time you have to take his name. Very fine. But at the same time, Baba did say committing suicide is not a right step, right? So if someone commits suicide and during last breath, tomorrow let's say I commit suicide, but I take his name during my last breath, then what will happen?
It will not come.
Okay. Soumya says it will never come. Anyway, I'll give you an incident. First, the answer to your question is I don't know. You can try it out and then tell us what happened to you. Because other than that, there is nothing in Baba's literature, but it's a very valid question. And I'll tell you what I know about it. There was one gentleman by the name Mr. Bharucha. What was his first name? I forgot. Anyway, Mr.
Oshan
Oshak
Baruch,
Barucha.
Oh,
Oshan Baruch.
No.
from
Anyway, I forgot. It will come. It will come. It will come. This is the sign of. Sorry?
Vinu Barucha.
Binu Barucha. Thank you. Bhikkhu, you are a great helper. That is why I keep people around me so that they can remind me. Soumya is one of them. All right.
sorry.
All right. Thank you, Bhikkhu. Minu Bharucha. I had this Minoche Desai's name in my heart. when I was saying Minoche, anyway, Minu Bharucha, he was a disciple of Upasri Maharaj. And one day Upasri Maharaj told Minu that Minu, this is your last life. You are not going to be reborn again. This is your last life. You are going to have mukti. And Minu just heard it, and that was over with. After Upasri Maharaj dropped his body, Minu joined Meher Baba. Now Minu was a electrical engineer. So he has done a lot of work of electrification of Mehrabad. And I was associated with him because he would give me a long list of things which he would require from Zaveri Bazaar and all those places, electrical aspects and all that. And I would give him the price rate. That's beside the point. So then one day Minu told Meher Baba that Baba, once Upasri Maharaj had told me that this is my last life. Is that correct? And Baba nodded his head and said, yes, this is correct. This is your last life. No further births and deaths. Then Minu jocularly said, oh, then he said, I am an electrical engineer. Instead of living for such a long time, still living because it's my last life, all I need to do is to touch a very powerful voltage ka live wire and I will die. Immediately I'll die. Isn't it? Then I will get mukti. Am I right? Same thing as, suicide. Am I right? And Baba gave a very superb reply. Baba said, yes, meaning yes, you will get mukti, but that would not please me. In my understanding, pleasing Baba, Baba has placed it even above having mukti or moksha. Another such example, it's not example, this is Baba's statement, where Baba says 12 ways of realizing me. In that, the last one, the 12th one, Baba says words to the effect that if you have that love which Saint Francis had for Jesus, not only would you realize me, but you will also please me. So here, after reading that, I get this feeling that even God realization, Baba called, okay, fine, but if you have that love, like how Saint Francis had for Jesus, if we had that love for Baba, it would please him. And he has given pleasing him a notch above even God realizing him or realizing him. So coming back to your answer, my frank reply would be I don't know. But as Soumya said, and I still firmly believe that it may not come to us in the last moment when you do suicide. The last thought, see, it is not just the utterance. Again, another, I'm digressing a little bit. It is not just the utterance, although Baba has not said it in his 6 points of my wish. It is also the feeling that is co-joining the utterance. Now, why I am saying this? In the early days at Mehrabad, when Baba was settling down in Mehrabad, settled, there was some what should I say, some festival, some Hindu festival, where a whole group of people were passing by the road, Mehrabad road, chanting. What was the chanting? One of God's name. One of God's name. One of God's name. I forgot the name again, as usual. So they were chanting the God's name. And Baba passed the remark that even if they were to do it for the Vithala, with either Vithala, Vithala or something, no, it was not Vithala, it was something else.
Tukaram, Tukaram.
Tukaram was it? Maybe Chitranjan, thank you. Tukaram is correct. They were chanting Tukaram, Tukaram, Tukaram. Thank you. Chitranjan also is very young to me, so I'm glad. Tukaram is the correct word. Tukaram, and Baba passed the remark that even if they chant this name for their whole life, it is not going to help them because it should come from the heart. So again, coming back to this question about committing suicide, I don't think that calling out God's name would come from the heart when that person is committing suicide. But if you were to ask me a question, yes or no, whether he will get mukti, my answer would be plain and honest. I don't know. I don't know. But I've just given you all the references about Minu, Barucha, and Saint Francis, and here Tukaram, Tukaram. So personally, I feel that no, it may not happen, but I really don't. Any more questions?
Deepa, are you there, Deepa?
Deepa?
Yeah, Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Yeah,
Uh,
also, this is excellent, but she is satisfied.
you know
She
she's
was
satisfied.
asking in some other context with someone's happening. But also, in one of the session, you had elaborated on this subject beautifully, that some samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi or Jnaneshwar samadhi, or for some spiritual cause, and the intention of the suicide, whether got tired of the life or with some high motive, or that life is done
There
and
are
no.
four
And
types of
yeah, yeah,
suicide.
yeah.
There are
Yeah,
four types
can
of
you please
suicide.
elaborate? Yeah, yeah.
I think it's a little out of context now, because otherwise, instead of stopping worrying, people will start committing suicide, which I don't want. Anyway, in brief, very briefly, I'll say there is one type of suicide which is the lowest suicide, which Baba says is worse than even the state of hell. Worst. And that person becomes like a ghost, and he's not liberated for several, liberated in the sense liberated from the ghost, and he lingers for hundreds and hundreds of years. That is one type of suicide which is the worst, which one, and that happens when we committed some wrong deed. Supposing I murdered somebody, or I did some fraud and financial gafla, and people are, when the police is after me, everybody is after me, and I just jump over the cliff or something like that. That is the suicide of part one. Then the other type of suicide, I'll tell you I don't quite remember all the four in a serial. Then the third one is the third one, I don't know, is that for a good cause, you are, let's say, going on a hunger strike for a real good cause, out of absolute selfless motive, you go on a hunger strike and then you die, then that is a higher type of suicide. And the fourth type of suicide, which is the highest type of suicide, is when out of your love for God, you are so immersed in your love for God that you forget about everything, and in that you don't eat, you don't drink, you just totally sit in your longing to become one with God. And in that, if you leave your body, then Baba says that that is also a kind of a suicide. But then you become one with the Lord. That is the highest type of suicide. The second one, I'm not getting it in my. Swami is trying to search out, but never mind. So basically,
Soldier fighting in a
Are
soldier.
mention my God. No, no, that soldier is not a suicide. No, no, no.
No. When he fights for the country and if he kills some person.
No, 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 no. No, I don't
Yeah,
think so, Merchant. But anyway,
yeah. Sorry.
no, I don't think so. But anyway, doesn't matter. That is not the topic of our day. The topic
That
of our day. Yeah, Sam has something to
that
ask.
Suicide of the brave, Cyrus.
No, no,
Suicide of the brave.
of the
Great.
Brave.
suicide of the brave. Well, to be honest, I'm not very clear. Maybe next time, next, that is Tuesday, we will start with that second one. Means I'll just briefly run through. I don't want to say something on record which I'm not very sure about, but it could be that. I really don't know. We have a minute more to go. So we are wrapping up today's session about worry, that it is Baba's order for us not to worry and to face everything that we have to face with bravery, with courage, in the firm knowledge that it is because I have caused it, number one. And number two, in the firm faith that Baba is with us and that he would guide us and help us to face whatever we are facing. And again, I say help us does not necessarily mean that nothing is going to happen to us. Even if something is going to happen to us, it will be his help, because his help would be that we are remembering him when we are passing over. That's how I would take things. Any other? I suppose we are done with 6:30. Yes, almost 6:30. So we
So
call it a day.
Cyrus, so
Hmm?
whatever is happening in the now is happening according to Baba's will and order.
In my understanding, When Baba says nothing, not a leaf has a power to quiver or shake without my will, I assume that it is Baba's will. But we also must understand what is Baba's will. Baba's will is the law of karma. In other words, we are facing or eating the fruits of our own collective karma. Suffice to know that Baba is and the perfect masters of our time, whosoever they may be, are in full and complete awareness and knowledge of what is happening out there, and they are, I'm coming to that, sweetheart, and they are in full and complete charge and control of what is happening out there. In my limited understanding of things, such things do happen periodically over a period of time, and that is the time of what we call churning. It is churning. It is like separating the shaft from the wheat, you may say. It doesn't, at the end of the day, the shaft is also a part of the wheat, and the wheat is also, there is no such thing as, oh, he was so unfortunate that he died, or he was so fortunate. Ultimately, at the end of the day, this churning keeps happening every cyclically, every once in a few hundred years or so. And this time it is no different according to me. According to me, this time it is much better. Why? Because now we are coming together as really one world. Today we are seeing that India is supposedly limping, or everything is sort of going awry. We are seeing that the help is coming from all over, including from China. You see, so in a way, my nazariya, my way of looking at things is that Baba is definitely in complete control and charge of it, and he has to take a complete U-turn of where the entire creation was going, and this is something like a break. You can't take a U-turn all of a sudden. You break it, and when you break it, when you're going at terrible speed, when you break it, it screeches. It screeches and it screams, and it destroys the tire, and it destroys the road, and then it comes to a halt, and then you take a U-turn, and we are all very fortunate, in a sense, to be witnessing this panorama of Baba's functioning. Irrespective of what is happening, our full, complete focus should be only on remembering Baba all the time, no matter what happens, is what I personally, what should I say, think is the best thing to do. No matter what happens out there, we have no control about what is happening out there. Okay, then shall we call it a day, or
Thank you.
any
Jai
more
Baba.
questions to come? Jai Baba. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Baba. Avatar
Thank you.
Meher
Jai
Baba
Baba.
ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you, beloved Baba. Thank you.
Hey, Baba.
Thank you.